My name is Hannah. I currently live in New York City and I am from the South. I've lived in New York for over 3 years now and I haven't lived in the South for over 5. There's so much that I absolutely love about living here. The energy, the fast pace, the plethora of things to do, but there are also things I miss about my hometown in southwestern Virginia. I miss my family, I miss the fresh air and nature, I miss the mountains, but perhaps most of all, I miss the food. Southern cooking is unlike anything else in this world, and it is particularly hard to get right. Good Southern food is the best thing you will ever taste in your whole life, but Southern food that is anything less than perfectly prepared is really not good. So let me just quickly explain, in case you're not from the South, you don't eat a lot of Southern food, you're really not even sure what it is. Think kind of a meat and potatoes kind of situation. Southern people are meat and potatoes kind of people. For example, when I visited my hometown, Grundy, Virginia, very recently, we had one particularly delicious meal of fried chicken, potatoes, fresh garden vegetables from my family's garden. Not bought at the store, my family grew these vegetables. And the most delicious cantaloupe I've ever tasted in my whole life. Fried stuff is huge. Meatloaf and mac and cheese, shrimp and grits is a great example. Although, I actually don't even eat that one. I am allergic to shrimp and I would rather have hash browns than grits. Anyway, perhaps the biggest indicator of Southern home cooking, white gravy. By white gravy, I mean a very thick gravy, commonly eaten with breakfast, but also with other things, made of flour, butter, black pepper. You can make it with sausage, you can make it with chicken, you can make it with mushrooms, so many options. So let me sidetrack just a little bit to tell you a personal anecdote. It is relevant, I promise. So when I first moved to the city, Ross and I went to ride the Staten Island Ferry, as one should do. When you first move to the city, or if you're touristing here, you should do that. It's free, you get a great view of the Statue of Liberty. It's awesome. Anyway, we get to Staten Island on the Staten Island Ferry, and we're hungry. So we get off and we go in the ferry terminal. Now this is a ferry terminal. There are fast food restaurants. That's it. So we go to Dairy Queen, and I get the only thing that is acceptable from Dairy Queen besides their ice cream, a chicken strip basket. And I'm excited to eat it. And then I get it, and I'm disappointed because there is no white gravy in there. Normally there's a styrofoam cup of gravy that you can dip your chicken and your french fries in, and it's awesome. So I, figured they just made a mistake. I walk up to the counter and I'm like, hey, there was no gravy in my chicken strip basket. Could I please have one? They are looking at me like I have lost my mind. They're like, gravy in the chicken strip basket? You mean ketchup? No, I don't mean ketchup. I mean the gravy that comes in the chicken strip basket. So I leave with my inadequate food, very disappointed in this experience, and I go online and I'm Googling white gravy from Dairy Queen. And apparently, Dairy Queens in the north don't have the white gravy. Now, don't get me wrong. I do realize that this was a Dairy Queen on Staten Island in the ferry terminal. This was by no means a fine dining establishment, but it was a moment in which I realized where I was living now. And I didn't think I was going to be able to get the food that I was used to eating here in this city unless I make it myself. So for the past more than 3 years now, if I have wanted Southern food, I just buy the ingredients and I cook it. But recently I've been thinking, you can find any cuisine that you could possibly want in New York City. You can find authentic Chinese food, Caribbean food, Latin American food, literally all of it. So why is Southern food any different? I am not the only Southern person living in New York City. I'm sure there are a ton of us, and there has got to be somebody who has created an adequate restaurant for us. I scoured the internet for recommendations, and most of the menus I came across just weren't doing anything for me. They didn't have all the options I was looking for, the dishes weren't prepared the right way, the vibe didn't seem right. Then I found Jacob's Pickles. Jacob's Pickles opened at 509 Amsterdam Avenue between 84th and 85th Street on the Upper West Side in 2011. I found it ranked on a ton of those best food lists online, and apparently it's pretty famous. They even have over 40,000 followers on Instagram, and somehow I had no idea until recently that it even existed. The vibe looks homey and country, and the menu has all the right things, including fried everything, meatloaf, mac and cheese, white gravy, and even dilly beans. I was so excited by this because I genuinely have never even seen dilly beans anywhere outside of like my family's kitchen. My aunt and uncle have a huge garden and they do a lot of canning and they make these. So it's green beans that are just like made like a dill pickle. So they're green beans that taste like dill pickles and they are fantastic. They are so good on charcuterie boards and I am just so excited to get some at Jacob's Pickles. I really hope they're good. I don't see how you could do that wrong, honestly. Like you pickle them. All of this isn't to say that I don't still have some concerns. I do. For one, the menu looks a little bit pricey to me, which leads me to believe that maybe these dishes are a little bit more elevated than I would prefer. And that's not to say they're bad at all. They might be delicious, but I just don't know if they're gonna be as classic, southern country as I want, you know? My biggest concern though is this one little tidbit on their website from Jacob that says, "My father raised me in a neighborhood restaurant in Astoria, Queens." Jacob is from Queens! You guys, he's from Queens! He's not even Southern! He's from Queens! Now, this does raise some red flags for me. I'm not going to lie. But I am going to do my best here not to be judgy. You know, I was enticed by this restaurant before I found this out. And for all I know, maybe Jacob has a Southern grandmother or something. Maybe he knows his stuff. I mean, like I said, he knows about dilly beans. That has to count for something. So I began my journey from Brooklyn to the Upper West Side in a ball of nerves. What if Jacob from Queens couldn't provide exactly the Southern delicacies I so craved? I also felt optimistic though. The menu is promising. This could be a life-changing experience for me. We arrived at Jacob's Pickles around 2:30 p.m. and they were still serving the brunch menu. I was so ecstatic to see that they had biscuits and sausage gravy, and of course, I also ordered the dilly beans. I realize these two things don't really go together, but I did not care. Ross ordered the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, which was also very good, but in my opinion, needed gravy.
So I guess I'm the resident beer taster on these videos now. This is the Jacob's Pickles biscuit beer, which I guess they brew with biscuit dough. Let's see how it tastes. It's a very good beer.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Your face, you looked a little confused about it.
It's just very full. I had to let all the flavors settle, you know. It's got a nice buttery finish, as they say on the can.
Like biscuits.
Like biscuits.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Dilly beans.
Oh my god, like I might actually do it.
Oh my gosh. It looks really good, doesn't it?
10 seconds. 15 seconds.
That tastes like it's supposed to. That tastes exactly like it's supposed to. Oh my gosh. You need to just scramble that. The gravy is like the perfect consistency. The flavors are great. It's really well seasoned. I feel like my grandmother made it. Oh my gosh. We just finished up at Jacob's Pickles and walked over to Central Park to enjoy this beautiful, beautiful day out. And I am just thriving on the meal that I just had. So we showed up at like 2:30. They were still doing the brunch menu. And they had biscuits and sausage gravy with eggs on the menu. And I was so excited. The gravy was delicious. It was so good. I was really afraid it wasn't going to be, but it was. The dilly beans were delicious. Jacob from Queens, you won me over. I will be coming back to this restaurant. I highly recommend that all of you go try this restaurant, Southern or not, but like especially if you're Southern. And I can't wait to go back and try even more of the food. In addition to the food, the vibe was just fantastic. For one, it was a huge restaurant and it was packed. Like I see how popular it is now, and I understand why. It had a nice rustic feel. They had a beautiful outdoor area. Our waitress was just so kind. She complimented my cat dress. And yeah, just 10 out of 10 stars. Or is it 5 stars? Is it supposed to be 5 stars or 10 stars? A lot of stars. It gets so many stars. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if there are any other Southern spots in New York City that you think I should try. Give the video a like for me. It really, really helps me out. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Turn on the bell notifications, and I will see you in the next one.